Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something clicked.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
And it feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay, so what I feel like working on today is it's hard to explain in words, but I'll do my best because okay. I need to say some words, otherwise you won't, you can't see into my mind. It may be related to this girl who is still in the desert. She hasn't really wanted to move, but I think she's quite content. We might get into her. She, maybe she will move, or maybe we won't get to her. But I have the feeling that it's kind of tangentially. Everything with me is related. So, but it's some way or the other.
Yeah, I think that's everything with everybody.
Yes. So, okay. So let's see if I can do it, because I actually got struck about this last night because I was reading an article in New Yorker, and I won't tell you the article anything about it, but it was one sentence. It was I think it was a novella, but anyway, it was one sentence that said, "Yes, that's me," and the rest of it had nothing to do with me. But so that got me to kind of get into this, because this is not something that came, that's the purpose. It didn't start with that article. I've been in it for a while, but it was what this article said that got me a different way of framing it that I could understand better. Okay, so what the sentence said, something like this was, it always has to be hard for me. And the harder it is, the more necessary it feels. So where that landed with me is something that I am working on. And I've been talking to a couple of friends about it. I don't know fully understand, and I don't know fully understand, but okay. So the way, ever since I was really little, if I was going to get anything in life, starting when I was really little, it was hard. I either with my sister, I think I told you, I had to be deceptive. I had to say I wanted the opposite.
Right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't get what I wanted. The yellow sweater instead of the red. Small things like that. Or I had just to freeze it all inside and numb it and not even think about it and feel it because I was afraid somebody will take it away from me. Or I had to do it all alone. That was how I felt anyway. I felt I had to do it all alone because if anybody else was involved, they would take it away. And that they would push against it. And in reality, that happened when I was little, right? I had, because of the family I lived in, there was always so, and we talked last time about my strong will. That was kind of the ugly part we found. And, that was that strong will that pushed through in all these ways, all these sometimes sneaky, sometimes zigzag, sometimes just doing it myself, sometimes hiding behind the bush but trying to get it done the other way. So everything has been hard, right? Right? Everything, and then what happened then was that I couldn't really enjoy it because there was all this guilt involved in it then. Because if I got, quote, what I wanted, I've gotten it by pushing through. And there was no support on the outside. And I didn't, and there was very little support on the inside because I said, oh, you're this selfish person, you did it, right? Instead of kind of saying, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to enjoy this, whatever it is. So that's how it has been, more or less. It has been less so as I've grown older, but it's still there. It's still there. And I have my anchors. I have my routines that I anchor myself to. That's kind of keep me.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, I've told you that my body is my anchor, right? If I run, I feel good. Right? Eating healthy food is an anchor. Getting to bed early usually is an anchor. So I have all these anchors that I hold on to, right? And then the relationship that I'm developing now with this person, everything is easy. Everything is easy. There is no pushback. When I'm with him, I'm very much in the present. I can kind of feel that I'm kind of going with the stream a lot. I mean, also shadowing him some because we've mostly been at his place because he lives alone. So, when I'm with him, I shadow him, right? That's kind of me. So I do shadow him a bit. That's kind of, but in addition, I also wanted this kind of, it's easy. There's no pushback. And then last time I saw him, I got to a point where this got really scary. Right. It got scary that it was easy. Because these parts in me who are reacting from the past were saying, oh, I'm losing myself. Where are my anchors? I'm losing myself. This is too much. It's too much. There was no hard corners to hold on to or kind of it was. And I know, okay, so my adult me know that, I'm actually not losing myself because if I lost myself when I was, it's like I have, how to put it, I know I'm not losing myself. I won't go any further than that for now. And also my adult mind is saying, yeah, maybe I don't need all these anchors so much anymore, right? So I can see that on the analytical level, but when I'm reacting inside, it's very much from a really scary place. It's like, I'm losing myself. Where are my anchors? I have nothing to hold on to. It's like, where is the constraint? Where is the control? And so I don't know how to kind of, because of course, like always, I need to befriend this part. So then, that's the only way through it. So I'll stop there.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds like you have a lot of clarity on this.
I do analytically, but that is so that was why start. So that was what that sentence there was just a sentence that popped out. I was just sitting reading. Yeah, it has to be hard, because then I feel safer. I feel safer when it's hard. The article didn't say all of that, but that was kind of it.
Because if something is hard, then that makes it more necessary. And
if it's hard, then I kind of know how to handle it, and I can turn on the controls. I can turn them up a bit, right? And I can lean on them more. Turning up the whatever it is control is much easier than turning it down.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I know how to handle it. It's being hard is something I'm used to. That's how it is. Things are hard.
Yeah. Okay. You also mentioned there being some guilt, though, from when something is hard, then it's harder to enjoy whatever you get on the other side, because there's guilt from pushing through.
Yeah, when something is hard, and if I'm pushing through, then there is guilt. And I'll tell you, it was so uncanny, because the last 2 days, okay, so I'm getting this maternity leave position, and this organization needed a health certificate signed by a doctor saying that I'm in good health. I never had that before. But anyway, so I went to my doctor last week to just get them to sign this thing, because it's very easy. And they're very bureaucratic. So I needed so and so many days to do it. And doctor is out and all that. And the organization said, we need it by the end of the week, because otherwise you can't start on Monday, which is today. And I didn't get it. So they're delaying the contract. So I didn't work today. I didn't get paid today. So hard, right? So I got super angry. So I wrote them kind of an email, not nasty, but kind of angry email. But then I knew that I had another doctor, so outside this thing. And I said to myself, I'm going to go to that other office this morning. And I'm just going to sit there and see if they will do it for me. And I went, and they said, we may not be able to do it, but I'll go to page the doctor and see what we can do. And I was very relaxed. I was very friendly. So I sat there for an hour, and they came back and said, it's done. Suddenly this was easy. I had done something, and I thought, and I kind of felt guilty. Oh, I was a fraud. Oh, they did it for me. They kind of relented on their so-called protocol and did it because this was important for me. But maybe they shouldn't have done that.
Okay. So there's also guilt for getting something the easy way, because that's fraud. That's leaning too much on others. They're going out of their way for you. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just looking back at some of the notes I've taken and looking for kind of the stronger emotional things that I'm hearing. And for me, I'm hearing the guilt when it's done the hard way, guilt when it's done the easy way, but then also kind of a fear that it's scary when it's easy, because that means losing myself, losing the anchors, no hard corners, no constraints.
No constraints, no control. I need a control, right? I need to kind of, and I need it to be a structure. That's it's almost, it's, if it's easy, it's scary.
Okay.
Even if, it's after a while, it became scary. It's like, it was like the break went on inside me. Saying, oh, I'm losing myself.
Yeah. Do you want to focus on that part?
Yeah, why not?
Or does another feel like it needs your attention more?
Let's see. So the other, okay, so it is kind of the flip side of where I started, right? But
you tell me, what's the flip side of
what? Okay, so the fear of losing myself, whatever that means, is the flip side of I feel safe when there is a control structure around me.
Right.
So I could either go where it's safe and ask, why is that safe? Look at that. Or I could go where I feel kind of, but I feel closer to the fear. And so maybe we'll go there. See if there is some resistance coming. Which I would not be surprised if some resistance will come. But
okay, how do you notice it in your body?
It's almost like I'm sucking in the air, trying to hold my stomach so tight. And did I tell you about that belt girl a million times ago?
You did. You talked about someone who had to hold it all together and there was kind of the image of the belt that she felt she had wrapped around her waist. And I believe that we did some unburdening and she was able to kind of let go of that belt.
Yeah.
But I've heard that in other parts. I've heard that, having to hold it all together, hold it in.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm taking a sip of water. Yeah, that's what it feels. To hold it together.
Okay. How do you feel towards that part?
Okay, so my initial feeling is that I'm a little scared of it because it's so intense.
Right. Okay. Makes sense to me.
That's kind of that's kind of initial, right? So then we have to see,
You can say hi to the scared part. See if it has any requests or if it's willing to step back and let you just get to know the one that's holding it in.
I need to hold it in so she doesn't lose herself. Yeah, what is that scared part saying? I think it grudgingly is willing to step aside a little.
Okay. Does it need anything else from us?
Yeah,
does it have any
see.
messages it wants to tell us?
God, I went blank. See if I can get back to it. It wants me to be on the guard so I don't feel too much.
Okay.
Because if it steps away,
you might be overwhelmed by the other part.
Yeah, I may be overwhelmed. That's what it's afraid of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can look out for that. We can go slowly, or we could ask the other part not to overwhelm you. We could build in some of our timers to check back in with this part if it wanted us to. Or to take a break and just see if you're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, because it's almost like on a bicycle. It wants to hold the brakes, the handlebar. If you let the brakes go, I'll go really fast downhill.
Okay.
I'll just fly downhill. Yeah.
So like the timer idea?
Yeah, like 20 minutes.
Okay.
And
timer set for 20 minutes.
I will try not to take the steepest hill, okay?
Yeah, I'll look out for that too. How does it feel about that?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, thanks to that part.
Something just popped in. Some thoughts, and I don't know where they came from. And of course I knew this, but it's saying that some of what is triggering this now is that I'm not used to be taken care of. I don't know how to handle that. Right. That's overwhelming for me. Yeah, that's very new.
Yeah, so that's the part that has that fear about it. About what's easy here.
Yeah, is easy even the right word? But yeah, I mean, being met and being taken care of and having somebody being concerned about me and looking out for my well-being. not programmed for that. I think I've really, really early on had to almost turn it off because it wasn't there.
Yeah. Okay. So it makes sense to you that this part just sees this as very new and something didn't have access to, and it even made sense to turn off.
But it's something very, I'm not using a funny word, but it's something very seductive about it. Because, it kind of pulls me in. It really pulls me in. And I crave it. I crave it so much. I really crave it. Yeah. But then it's also this red flag going up. If I embrace it too much, or I don't know what the whole way is, but then there is a danger there.
Okay.
And the danger is that I lose myself. That's how it comes up. That's kind of the phrase that comes up. I lose myself.
Okay. Yeah.
But which self am I losing?
Well, you could ask the part what it means, what it looks like for it to lose itself.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it has any memories it wants to show you about embracing something like this and then having that feeling.
Okay, so the first thing that came up was that I could be dependent on it. I could become dependent on it. I wouldn't be able to take care of myself.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay, just let the part know that.
And if I lost it, I wouldn't find my way back to taking care of myself. Then I would be completely lost.
Yeah.
It's like my cat. My cat can't feed herself.
Right.
I have to open the cans.
Yeah. So that's more dependency, fear of being dependent, right?
Mm-hmm. But if I lost that care, similarly, if my cat lost me, what happened to me? My cat wouldn't be able to go out into the wild and fetch mice, and I wouldn't be able to find back to that. I think it's I wouldn't be able to find back to my quote control. Not even quote, my controls. I wouldn't be able to find back there.
Yeah. And does that make sense? Do you know what kind of controls it's talking about?
Yeah, it's talking about, it's talking about things like scanning the situation before I go into it, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to be impulsive, to just, to know as much as possible and know what I'm getting into, measuring how far I want to go before I go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
exercising regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Eating the food I usually eat. It's all this. It sounds kind of mundane.
I get it. How important those routines are. Those are your anchors.
Yeah.
Is the part aware of you there? Is it aware of you just hearing it and noticing the things that are important to it?
Yeah, it is. And then there is this other part that is saying, there is this other part, and that is what the fear, I think, wants to keep the brakes on for. That is this other part that wants to just throw all that away, right? Like throw, jump over the fences and take away all the restraints and just
go towards being taken
Nirvana.
Care of. Go towards and things being easier, and neglect any of the routines, neglect any of the self-care. Just be totally impulsive.
Or at least not be totally impulsive. I don't think I need to go that far, but
okay. But you definitely have this other part that wants to do that.
Yeah, going with whatever it is, going with the flow, and just and just feeling good about being nurtured, and just feeling that is good. Period.
Yeah. So you could acknowledge that to the first part, that you know that you have this other part that wants to throw it all away and just feel good, right? And that you see how that part wants to push and pull.
Yeah, there really is this push and pull. Yeah.
Maybe you could ask this first part what it needs from you, what it wants from you, how you can help it out.
The part that doesn't trust, that it's fear of losing myself.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things, I think it needs me to feel that there is some value in my routines, and not just deride it and just not just ridicule it.
Right.
It needs me to it needs me to see so I do see why it has been so important. I do see that. And if I go far into myself, I don't think I even want to give it all up. Not all of it.
Right. That's just another part that wants to give it all up.
Yeah, there's another part that wants to give it all up. I think because some of it makes me feel good too.
Sure.
If something becomes a straitjacket, it's not good. But Yeah. So it does. It does make me feel good to go out running. It does make me feel good you know, to eat healthy, even if I do like sweets too. I do like, you know, but it does make me feel.
Sure.
All these things do, but
yeah, they have value.
They have value. There's more there. Okay, maybe it doesn't have to be, but there is. So I think I am able to tell that part that even I don't want to give that up.
Yes.
But I would like to get to a point where I don't become so fearful that I'm losing myself if I create a little distance. Create more space, or create a little distance and have more space and more things in my life.
Would it help? You could ask the part if it would be useful to check in with that other one, the one that does want to throw it all away, and also kind of negotiate with it to bring it into this conversation and to lead it also. Because if that's the polar opposite of this first part and is concerned about you doing that, then maybe you could just show up for that other part as well. And
there is a third part too. I think it's a third part, but we can go to but let me see if I can name it. The third part is or maybe just is that other part. Because it felt like there was this third part that was very confused. But let's get to that other part, see if that third part comes back up again.
Okay.
So that part,
just the one that wants to throw it all away.
That's one expression of it. It feels like, I think, like I said a little earlier, that being cared for is something that I kind of had to lock in and throw the key away. Because it wasn't anything there for me. So, you know, if I was walking around wanting it every day, I would just, I wouldn't function. And now I'm going back to being little. So, like I said, this part I want to throw it all away is in touch with something really deep that had to be locked in because it wasn't there.
Okay.
I mean that it wants to it wants to kind of, I don't know exactly what it wants to do, but it wants to go, it wants to throw off all these layers of self-sufficiency that started really early, right? And it wants somebody to take care of me.
Yeah.
It wants somebody to just be there and take care of me.
Okay. And can you find that part in your body, and can you get in touch with it, invite it to speak with you?
Yeah, where is it in my body? Almost like it's all over. It's very much in my lower abdomen. It's very much there.
How do you feel towards it?
I feel I could just hug it, just take care of it.
Okay. Maybe you can let it know that's how you're feeling towards it. And just see if it would be willing to show you more of itself.
That part, this disillusionment, or that's probably not the right word, but that feeling a lack of support, or lack of nurturing, started very young. And I don't know how young it started, but it's probably before I could have words. But it grew, right? It became. So it maybe started with, I don't know how it started, but I think it became more and more pronounced, because I can imagine that in the beginning there must have been a little for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't sit here today, I think, if there wasn't anything.
The 20-minute timer is going off. Do we need to do any checking in for overwhelm or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. It's like if this part can just, sit in a chair or do something else, go to the kitchen or whatever it wants to do for it. Yeah, I don't think we need it right now.
Yeah. So you're trying to get in touch with this part that has that feeling of lack, the feeling of.
It's you. So the lack just became bigger and bigger, because the situation became more and more chaotic.
Right.
Until I just locked in the lack, threw it.
Yeah.
Because I could never get it.
Yeah. So can you let that part know that you're sensing it and that you'd like to be with it?
Yeah. The heart it just wants to curl up and be safe and be taken care of. Be responded to, be hugged, be fed. If it's cold, somebody can put on the mittens. That's very little. Make sure I have a hat down when I go out in the cold.
Things that it didn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just somebody who's kind of a feeling the warmth, feeling that somebody loves me. Instead, it felt like it had to just lock that in and do everything itself.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, most of the things it did was wrong, and it was selfish, and things were my fault.
Someone wants to show you about what that was like for it?
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it was almost like it was programmed to be self-sufficient, because that was the way to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But according to its surroundings, it wasn't self-sufficient in the right way.
Right.
Because it had a strong will.
Right.
And it still wanted things.
Yeah. Yeah, just let it know you want to know how that was for it, and anything else it wants to show you about that.
But inside, it was it was all the time just feeling so lonely and pushing down to want to be taken care of. Because if that need surfaced, it will be paralyzed, because it had to take care of itself, or she had to take care of herself.
Does it all make sense to you?
It all makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And how's the part feel being able to share this with you? Being in your presence now?
It feels more visible.
Mm-hmm.
It
in a safe way?
In a safe way. It feels more understood. Feels that I can understand that deep longing, I think, to be taken care of. And
Does it feel like... Go ahead.
Yeah. No, please.
I was going to ask if the part feels like it's stuck back there, and if it would like to come and join you in your time or in a different place.
This is weird. Okay. Yeah, but it's something is coming up. It's something that... Okay. So this part, like I said, it locked this need and want. Well, but it did it, even if it threw away the key, there was a keyhole.
Right. Yeah, because it can still show you what it wants. It wants the mittens and the hat.
Yeah. So this longing, it did. So even if it was painful, it couldn't, but it also in some way wouldn't. It wouldn't let go of the longing that one day, it was going to be taken care of and feel good. And that longing is part of the hope that is my life force that kept me going. And so weird. So now I'm tapping into some of this longing in being realized. And that scares me in a way.
Yeah.
Because as long as it's a longing, I can watch it on TV. You know, it's a little distant, but it kind of keeps me moving.
Is there fear when you as self witness the longing? Or is it mostly come up when it has to do with other people out in the world?
I assume.
Yeah, like just in this moment, as it's kind of showing you that longing and the mittens and the hat. How's its level of fear about just showing you that in this space?
Because self wants me to have it all. I think self may be scared that I will be hurt.
There's fear about being hurt. Is that again? So is that internally with you and this part in our conversation, or does that feel like it's
externally
relating to the other relationships?
No, I think it's both. So we can focus on the inner one, but I think
and that's fine.
There is a fear that this inner tender longing to be cared for and loved will be hurt because it's pure. You know, it's like white light or something like that, with little rainbows in it.
Yeah, that's why one of my suggestions was to see if it felt right to invite it to its own place, or to just be with self, self being just your compassionate self, and away from parts that have the fear, because we've met those parts that have those fears, and those fears do make sense, especially externally or in the presence of other parts. But if you were, if this part was able to join you and have its own space where it could have the longing without the judgment and without the fear that it would be left alone or anything else.
That sounds beautiful. Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah, if it's up for that, and maybe it's not. If it's, does it trust you to create that space with it?
Yeah, but just total digression. But I mean it. Can you hear the construction?
Very slightly. Zoom is doing a great job of cutting most of it out.
Okay. Yeah, because let's see. That longing is, it's, if I just stay with the longing, not in the past, but just stay with the longing as a longing.
Yes.
It's, like I said, it's pure. It's this light. It's open. It's asking. That's really big eyes. It's, if I just stay with it, it expands. If I just stay with it and self, it expands, because it's like it, it becomes more voluminous.
You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel I want to give that longing what it wants.
Yes. Yeah. So you can ask it what it wants. And you can do that in the expansive space where it's just you and this part.
It just wants to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
It just wants to be cared for. It wants to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can have that without the judgment, those other parts. You can get away from those without any of those repercussions that might come from the external world.
That longing also wants to have it doesn't just want to be a passive recipient. It also wants to reach out. It's almost like it's stretching its arms, like it wants to hug me.
Yeah.
Not just being hugged, but to hug me.
Yeah.
It's a longing to be met.
Yeah.
Not just longing to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
It's the longing to meet and be met.
Mm-hmm.
And to share, and that my love is met.
Right. Yeah. So you can do that. You can do that internally. And when it comes to the external stuff, this part may have requests around that and wants around that. And you can be there with it in that too. So that when it comes to your love being met out in the world by others, it also has self there to guide, protect, look out for. If things don't go the way we want, to return to this just safe place where the part isn't wrong for wanting that, and that you can provide those basics.
And if I'm able to do that, but externally, I just kind of got an image. If I'm able to do that, I will feel safe. Because being met means that myself, I'm in myself. I haven't lost myself. But if I'm going to, if my feelings are going to meet somebody else's feelings or reject somebody else's feelings or whatever they're doing, I have to be in. I'm there too.
Right. And that doesn't feel safe.
That does feel safe. That does feel safe.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Even when there is rejection, or that you and your relationship with your parts doesn't have to be shaken by that. How's it going?
Thoughts just came that in the external world, I want to honor that this is something new.
Yeah.
That it's okay that that something in me is confused because it's not used to it.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. You can go to those parts.
Mm-hmm.
You honor their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to get rid of any of them. The vulnerability of the longing one is also honored.
And I wonder if at least part of that kind of freaking panicky, I'm losing myself, was because I didn't honor that. But I didn't take that with me and was gentle with myself.
Yeah, you can check it out. You can ask the parts if that's if that is the right repair, a way to prevent that in the future. And of course, it makes sense if you're just a child to not have this ability to do all of this for your parts, and instead to just let the protectors take over and do what they do. We need them.
Yeah. I know there is, at least it feels like there is much more to explore here. But I also feel like I'm in a place where I'm curious and ready to explore it with a new understanding and compassion instead of with pushing it away.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, but it's still not totally clear, but that's okay. That's okay.
Right. Okay. Any concerns, any other parts that have concerns about your work or requests?
See that parts I wanted to hold the brakes, put on the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
That part would like some reassurance that I will honor those young parts for this, that, that sees this as new and doesn't really know how to handle it all.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you respond to that? How?
Well, what I can say is that I feel very tender towards those parts right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you feel like you could get back to this place with these parts in the future?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I feel I could. And I also feel that I have to explore this. That these parts are kind of also underneath. It's kind of an exile underneath the strong will exile in a way, or it's part of that in some way.
Mm-hmm. The longing one?
The girl in the desert.
Right. Yeah.
So it's almost
this one is, got it.
Yeah. It's almost like it's prerequisite. Prerequisite is the right word. But for her to really want to get out of the desert.
Mm-hmm. You can do it. You can offer them different spaces. It's something we talked to. We talked about last time was updating the space. If the desert isn't permanent home for her, and she just wanted. Mm-hmm.
But for her to want to do that, I need to, as fully as I can, just have compassion for these parts that are so young and want so much love and care.
Yeah.
And now are confused how to handle it when you get it. I'm really doing construction here. You probably hear it too now.
I can hear you fine. Yeah. So it feels like going forward, as long as you're staying in touch with these younger parts and honoring their longing, honoring their confusion, and giving them what they need, that the other parts will feel
I think okay. So I think it's, but what I'm trying to say is that, and I have to stay with this, but it almost feels like, my strong will that's now living in the desert, because but she's fine there for now. It's not like I haven't deported her to the desert, but who kind of is afraid of showing her free will among people, showing a strong will among people, because then she's afraid she'll be judged, right? That this strong will has to feel, it's like there is some work to do still with feeling at ease. It's all a feeling at ease with the confusion and feeling at ease with these old parts, these young parts that were so deprived and just had this sore longing.
Yeah.
Being at ease with that and nurturing that will also make this strong will feel that she belongs or that she has a right to live. It's a connection there. So I'm not exactly sure what the connection is, but there is some kind of connection there that they are connected.
Yeah. It sounds like you're getting it, and you're getting it, more clearly than I could get it, or that you can even put in words. Is this connection between these parts? And I think that's great that you're able to.
But let's see that
and go towards them in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just sitting and being with that longing, it's very sweet when it expands. And it doesn't go anywhere. It's just there. It's allowed to be there.
Right.
It doesn't have to do anything. But it's very sweet. It feels sweet inside.
That's great. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me know how it goes.
I will.
And get you back on the calendar if you like.
I would love to.
Okay. I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.